Positional spreads are the ones that most people know about. You can think of them as the Celtic Cross in particular, where you have one card on one position. Okay, so you can have a card for love, a card for health, a card for work, the past, the present, or the future. But the problem with these names is that the mind needs these names to make sense of things. So you have the name of the card, you have the description of the card, you have the meanings of the card, and there's often many, and you have the position on the tarot spread. And the mind has to kind of figure all these things out, and it has trouble doing it because there's too much information basically. Plus, you have you have your person in front of you who wants the reading, who doesn't know any of this stuff. They're thinking, oh my god, tarot cards, I want some answers. And you're sitting there thinking, what does it mean and how does it work together? And that's why people lose faith in tarot, and they don't have any faith in their abilities, because they're looking at positional spreads. Now, when I discovered the opening of the key spread, it doesn't have positions as such, and we're reading the cards in a sequence. You can fan the cards out, okay, and so you can see the top card, but all the rest of the cards, they're hidden, and you can only see a fraction of the edge. And this is the reason why I use the Toth Tarot deck as well, because as I was talked about in the earlier lessons, you can only see, because you can only see a fraction of the card, the colours and the way it's arranged and everything else are very important. So I can read the cards, I don't have to see the full face, I can just show less than half an inch of the edge and know exactly which card it is, and even if it's upside down or reversed or orientated the right way. And I'll read the cards, because I don't have this kind of big thing of the meaning of the card or the position or anything else. I'm just purely looking at the relationship of those cards and how they fit together. And I use a system of elemental dignities to understand the relationship between the cards, because it's not a spatial thing where you have the Celtic Cross and the positions and it's up here and how's it rated down here and all this kind of stuff. All those kind of things have gone. I just have this sequence of cards and their positions and the elemental dignities. And the rules of elemental dignities are very simple. So these four elements have a particular relationship between each other, which can be expressed very simply. Basically, they can be either friends or enemies of each other. So the fire and water are enemies, and air and earth are also enemies. Now this sounds a bit heavy kind of thing, but if you think about it, if you're enemy with one, you're friends with the other two elements. So actually friendship is far stronger than the enemies. And by enemy, it's just a binary word between friends and enemy as well, so there's nothing to get upset or worried about. It simply means that two inimical cards weaken each other and friendly cards strengthen each other. So fire is an active element, it's hot, and water is cold and wet. So the two kind of cancel each other out. The same with the air and earth. Air is active and it's kind of all over the place, the air and everything else, and earth is solid and passive. So the active and the passive cancel each other out, and the dynamic and the solid sort of do as well. So once you understand those two kind of dynamics, that's all the rules are basically. Then you can start to look at other things as to where the cards strengthen and weaken each other and interact with each other. And there is also the most important thing, which is the card counting. And the card counting means that you can create a story, okay, between the cards. And the card counting, the numbers you have this string of cards, the numbers you count onto depend on the value of the card. So if you have the three of cups, you count one, that card, second card, the third card, whatever that card is, you count from that one on. And you can create a story. And you can start with any card you like and go in different directions and have stories, and there's interactions. And if you have court cards, suddenly they become a lot easier to understand as to how they work and interact with each other. So you have these cards sitting there. You don't really have a past, present, or future kind of thing. It's just that you just have this dialogue that's going on there between the cards, and you can move backwards and forwards in either direction and develop the story. And with interaction with your client, it's a strange thing that happens sometimes, because I can be looking at the cards and I see one or two cards and think, oh god, they're really difficult. I'll avoid them. So I'm talking on and talking about this and that with my client and something, and suddenly she'll say, what's that card? And I think, oh my god, That's a card I don't understand. And it's often because of the way the elemental things work, and that's the real crux of the thing. So I have to go back and try and understand that card. It's a complex kind of thing that's going on, but it's actually very simple as well. So if the client suddenly wants to talk about justice or relationships, I look for the justice card in that string, or the two of swords, or the ten of swords for divorce or breakup, or whatever. Or if it's a woman, she's looking for a man, I look for one of the male court cards, the knight or the prince, see if they're any there, and how those cards interact. And actually, this system, the way reading these cards with card counting elemental dignities, is particularly good at helping you to understand what's happening with the court cards. Many tarot readers and people are experts. You can see them go into a panic. They've seen a court card. What do I do? What do I do? And actually, with this system, it's very easy to read the cards in a simple and logical way. And you can actually see how the court cards interact with each other, which is stronger, which is weaker, and going behind your back and everything else. There's also another system, pairing the cards, where you start from the outer cards, basically, and work inwards. Okay, and you can tell a story right at the center. You can also read cards and pair them from any other one to any other one as well. So there's lots of kind of ways of reading the cards like this. You can also look at the number of the elemental relationships within the cards, how many there are, and all the rest of it. So this opening the key spread is you have 4 strings basically of cards, and they're all related elementally. The first one is fire, the second one is water, the third one is air, and the fourth one is earth. And the earth relates more to the future. So it gives a kind of backdrop, this elemental backdrop to what's happening in the reading, and you can rate things far more simpler. And it rates for more dynamic reading. All the cards are there. You're not just limiting yourself to 10 cards, say, in the Celtic Cross spread.